Knicks are back home for Game 5. This series is tied at 2. Here's the stat of the afternoon. If you win Game 5...
You love these.
Well, it's a very telling stat. Is it not?
I mean, I believe, Josh.
You win 81.5% of the games.
Guess what? Winners of Game 1 win like 80%.
I don't roll that out there.
it's just.
You don't think this is the stat of the afternoon?
No, I think
that's
a cool stat. It should be in cool stats.
It's a great stat of the afternoon.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So you don't think it's a must-win for the Knicks?
No, I don't think it's a must-win for the Knicks.
Really?
I think they will win.
But
you think they're?
I mean, I'm not saying if they lose, they're done, but
they have 18% chance.
It feels like a must-win to me. Look, they are the better team.
I agree.
I mean, obviously the seeding suggests that, but I'm just saying, watching them, Game 1 they won by double digits.
Yeah.
Game 2 they were up 12 entering the fourth quarter, kind of blew it. Game 3 they just lost, and then they routed them.
But you say Game 3 they just lost by a point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like their 2 losses are by a point, and their 2 wins they've controlled, and one of the losses they controlled until they blew it. So that's why I don't think it's a must-win. Because I think the Knicks have been the better team throughout big parts of the series.
Yeah, they are the better team.
And so if
but
they
you
were
go down
to lose,
3-2 going to Atlanta, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do it, but if they lose, could I see them going to Atlanta and winning? Absolutely. Oh, and so I think the Knicks are gonna. I think it's gonna go.
If they lost,
win,
you
loss,
give them about an 18% chance.
Listen. I think they are gonna win, but I think that they can lose and be okay. I also, Brew, and I think you are with me on this. I am most interested in, has the game plan adjusted at all? Are you going to feed Karl Anthony Towns early and often? This is what I would like to see. Make Atlanta show you that they can stop it. Like what, I'm not saying 28 field goal attempts for Karl Anthony Towns is smart. What I am saying is, I would let him pace for it until he's not shooting 50%.
He had games like that in Minnesota where the game plan was feed Cat.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And he would have big games.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think I would just like to see that and give Brunson a bit of a break and see how that works. The other thing the Knicks would like to do is, can they get Mikal Bridges going? Because they are going to need every single guy here. Everybody's going to be playing at the level OG is right now against Boston.
Well, there's some feeling this isn't a good matchup for Bridges, but in the next round he'll be better. Boston's a better matchup.
Why?
We'll see.
Why is Boston a better matchup? You got Tatum and Brown on the wings.
They've got some great defenders on Atlanta. They don't have the offensive scorers on the wings. I mean, Dyson Daniels is a phenomenal defender, but he's not a scorer like those guys in Boston. But look, I agree with what you said about Cat. Also, the three-pointer's been telling. Now, you can't always control that. You can't really control that. But the 2 games they won, they shot over 45% from 3. The 2 games they lost, they were 32% and below. So that's big for the Knicks, too. How are they shooting it from 3?
Also, one of your best takes that I didn't take seriously, but I now do. You said before the series Trey Young should show up. I'm like, he can't. He plays for another team. You guys see last night who was at the Orlando game?
It's a great
I like that.
Jared Jackson.
I love that.
Now, John,
it was great
did a
support.
few hand gestures. I don't know if he gets fined from the sideline. But that
nice.
set the precedent that it's kosher to
show
up and root for your old team. Imagine if Trey bought the seats next to Spike Lee. He's rooting for the Hawks.
It'd be great for his brand.
It'd be great if Trey was there.
Chiefs already have a reunion with Eric Bieniemy. Perhaps a reunion with Tyreek Hill is around the corner. CBS Sports writing, at age 32 and coming off a major injury, Hill's best chance at playing this season might be back in Kansas City in a complimentary role.
Yeah.
Are you ready to see Tyreek back in Kansas City?
All right, this is where sports can be a little complicated. So I'm just going to say this on the front end. I have a complicated relationship sports-wise with Tyreek Hill because I think there's a lot of evidence that he has not been the best guy off the field, and I think he's made it at times hard to be like I'm a huge fan. I also am not going to lie and act like his time with my team wasn't some of my greatest sports memories are tied into Mahomes to Hill and that unbelievable connection. So if I, accept the first part as, hey, that's the tax of whether it's any type of entertainment that you have to, separate the art from the artist, so to speak. I think he's definitely worth a flyer. I think that he and Bieniemy obviously have a relationship. He and Travis have a relationship. He and Andy have a relationship. And there is a chance that catastrophic knee injury ended Tyreek Hill as an effective NFL player. So I wouldn't be interested in giving him a long-term big money deal. But Tyreek Hill, at his peak, in my opinion, Greg, was the single best athlete in the NFL. So if post that injury, he can be 80% of that, that is still a plus athlete. And I do think the Chiefs, while they supplemented their receiving core, and I don't think they have a desperate need, and I don't think Tyreek Hill at this point of his career, should be anybody's number one receiver until you see him post knee injury. If he's going to play football next year, I would imagine it would be for the Chiefs. And I told you guys 3 years ago that I thought in 2026 Tyreek Hill would be a Kansas City Chief. That I thought that's where he would go eventually post Miami. And so I think this is, if he's going to play next year, I would imagine it would be for Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm with you there. If he plays next year, I think it would be with Kansas City, not just because they would show interest, but this is where he wants to be.
Yeah.
He's been open about it, and he can make that choice. He can decide where he wants to play if he decides to play next season. But when you look at their roster and you look at their receiving core, it's hard for me to believe that they won't at least consider this as an option later. Seeing what they got acquired in the draft.
Middle of the year?
No, I'm not even talking about that late. I'm saying after off-season program, going into training camp,
OTAs.
everything, because he still has a journey in his rehab process as well. But
when's he supposed to be fully back?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I don't think they expect. I think he would be ahead of schedule if he were ready to play week 1. You know what I mean? This was a true 9 to 12 month injury, and obviously happened during the season. So I think you would hope that he's fully healthy by Halloween, like 100% back by then. But go ahead.
So I just, when you look at their receiver depth, they don't have tremendous depth, and then with their history of injury and not being available, it's like. That's what makes it then hard to look at Tyreek and say, oh, well, Tyreek can be available, knowing that he's coming off of this type of injury. So it's tough, but I think if there is a team that understands who he is and what he can be immediately, because forget the plays, forget what they've done since he left. Just the rapport of the guys you mentioned, and you didn't even mention Patrick Mahomes, just that rapport of knowing that you have that guy in your back pocket. If you're Patrick Mahomes, you can get something out of that if he's available and healthy enough to play.
Yeah, look, I think it's fine. It makes sense. I don't expect him making a huge splash there, but I could see him making a big play in a key game at some point. I don't think it'd be consistent excellence, but I could see him contributing once or twice for a big catch here.
I feel like they would, in theory, have him in the role that right now they have slotted for Tyquan Thornton. The field stretcher. Now, Tyquan's much taller than Tyreek.
And I assume much faster.
I don't know.
So that's the thing.
Tyquan Thornton can move.
Yeah,
Tyreek is a different type of speed.
Well, I don't.
So even if you lose
you
one
could
or
beat
two
him right
steps,
now in a race.
Who, me?
He's
injured.
saying post-surgery. But so that's the thing. I don't.
You can't
know.
run anymore. Maybe I'll beat him.
Well,
I gotta see where he's at.
Listen,
he's on crutches.
Listen,
right?
KW, it's definitely true that when he's recovered from the surgery, he's no longer fast, then no team's going to win.
Is it fair for me to expect, I'm not expecting 26-year-old Tyreek Hill post-injury.
Here's the question I have that maybe Greg would know, but maybe only an orthopedic surgeon would know. The type of injury that he had and the surgery that he had, when he is fully recovered, is the part that's the least back to normal, his change of direction, start-stop, or is it top-end speed?
That's interesting.
Because I could see a scenario where
Straight line.
Straight line speed is close to the same.
Okay.
It's his ability to plant and
Shifty.
stop
Yep.
and do different things. Like that
That
what
makes
I'm,
sense.
So I only dealt with a meniscus tear. And the thing that concerned me, and now he is far beyond that.
Yes.
We all know. But the one thing that I had to wrap my mind around was trusting that I can still make the moves. Like going straight, I feel nothing. I have no concern. But when I want to get off the line of scrimmage or separate from a guy or make a move, like that's when I need to trust my body is going to hold up. So that takes time. So he can get back and he can be healthy, but mentally he's not in a place where he still trusts his body to be the old Tyreek Hill that they once knew and we all know.
But it wouldn't shock me at all if before he signs with a team, we see a video of him on a track running 100, and it looks like
good.
Tyreek pre-injury. It's more the other stuff. The underrated part about Tyreek that I truly believe he is the best I have ever seen in the history of the NFL I've never seen a player be able to go up for a ball, land, and from the time he landed, dead stop to top speed.
Yes.
I've never seen a guy be able to go from I'm standing still to full speed better than him. It was cartoonish. So I don't know how that
It'd be interesting
impacts
to
it.
see. You're not really big on. In the show, I'm the guy who is a fan of reunion nostalgia.
Yes.
Like I want Odell back, and I'm like, oh, DeAndre Hopkins might go to Minnesota with Kyler. Like I like all that stuff, but you usually are more pessimistic about older guys still.
Yeah, I
having
am. But again, would he be worth 1 year? $4 million to see, of course, to me, that's a worthy, but if you cannot be relying on him. Like if I heard, the reason the Chiefs didn't draft a receiver was because they, in the first round, because they're banking on that to me would be a problem. If it's just, we'll see. And I do think there is something to, this is, I guess, a little nostalgic. If it's Travis's last year, Travis, Patrick, Chris, and Tyreek all being together for Travis's last year is something. Listen, it's not Mike Evans.
That's something
Bucks.
they're winning games.
That'd
It's a
be
nice
real
story. You were getting,
What?
sentimental.
yeah,
Real mushy.
rear view mirror.
Andy Reid, Bieniemy's back. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them. I mean, I don't know. They've played in 5 of the last 7 Super Bowls. I think they'll probably be okay.
Yeah, like the Warriors.
Yeah.
All right, strange saga of Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers seem to be coming to a head. 2022, 8 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. 2023, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. Then he got hurt. And then he was away from the team except for a random social media post where he drove 90 miles an hour past Levi's Stadium. Wasn't great. Who should be calling for Brandon Aiyuk? The unofficial question is, what's going on?
Yeah, so I'll answer the latter first. No one knows what's going on, but they don't even know what's going on to a degree. And this is where if I'm a team, who's calling? Like, I understand, like, Brandon Aiyuk, when he was at his best prior to getting, again, tearing the ACL, he was a really good player. And he would have got a lot of interest had he been able to come off that injury and then produce. There would have been teams that would have been very interested. This is odd. We haven't seen him on the field since the injury.
And he gave up money.
And
he had no reason to give up.
Correct. And so that's just odd. Do you even want to play football anymore? So
Correct.
I don't even know, with the question being who should be calling, is anyone going to call?
I think the Niners should just cut him. But they seem so, it's like dead set, like we have to get
Something.
a future 6th round pick or something. But I just don't, I think it's best for them to just be able to just move on and see what happens with him moving forward.
Well, I read on Spot Rack, and maybe you know if this is true, Nick, that he got $48 million from them for 7 games and 25 catches.
Well, yeah, because he signed that deal, and now I know they voided, but he.
They voided
the thing
a
is
lot of
this,
it. Yeah, it would have
he
been
could have
more.
gotten way more.
Yes.
Without ever playing again, like he could have. His money was injury guaranteed, Brew. So or some of it that they he could have. If he would have just shown up and been like, I can't play or I'm not ready, they would have had to give him more.
But he was missing rehab.
He
Like,
just
Yeah,
stopped.
it feels like there's a lot of issues there. I agree with Greg. Like, I mean, if you're desperately in need, you could probably get him incredibly cheap.
Yes.
You take a flyer on him, maybe, but he just seems like he doesn't want to play. Seems like something going on. It's not really stable.
That's just.
And he was dropping passes the last time we saw him.
But that's almost separate bucket. The only thing I would say is about this, and again, this is just my gut feeling and having, followed it as best as I can. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
It feels less about like, is he going to play in the NFL again? And again, I think he's young enough, and people come back from ACLs. I think he could. I think physically he could play in the NFL again. And more about like, again, I don't want to speculate
His
on
health,
anything, but just in general, like, is he doing okay? And I don't think there's going to be any team that's going to be like, we're going to give you a draft pick until we have confirmation that whatever's been going on with him, that he's all right. And I don't know that anybody has that.
Yeah.
Right now we're headed back to the NBA. We are at a pivotal time in this show. One of you guys, really both of you, are facing an early exit for one of your finals picks. Nick, you had the 3-seeded Denver Nuggets. They're down 3-2, headed back to Minnesota. Brew, you had the number 1-seeded Detroit Pistons. Really went on a limb there. Number 1 seed. They are down 3-1 to the once frisky Orlando Magic. Brew, we'll start with you. Who do you think is in more trouble? Not teams, people. You or Nick?
I have no problem admitting I am in deep trouble. I mean, I think Denver could be one game away from eliminating. I mean, both of them could be.
Yeah.
But I think while I feel like Minnesota can win this series, I don't really feel like Detroit, I mean, they can win the series. There's no reason outside of Franz Wagner maybe being injured to
He
really
is injured,
think.
though. I mean, he's out.
Is he
Calf
gonna?
strain.
He's going. Yeah. So that could keep him out the rest of the series, and that does give them hope. But they've got no offense, none. And I
Now,
mean,
did they have an offense when you picked them?
well, I thought they did because
Brew
they were
believes in Dennis
averaging.
Jenkins.
I mean,
He's on the hill.
without Cade, they were cooking.
Yeah.
They were. I don't remember what the record was, but
they
they went on a
kept the
nice
1
streak.
seed, they
Yep,
were
kept
fine.
averaging 117 points a game. And that did give me hope that they would be able to find some offense outside of him, but they can't. And I said it earlier, Nick, head to head, I feel like Orlando's better.
Well, they certainly have looked like it. Let me try to give you a little bit glimmer of hope. I think you would, however, while you're saying you are the one in more trouble and your team, they both have been down 3-1 at one point, but the Nuggets already got one of the wins. I think you do. Let's say they both come back from 3-1 down
To win the series?
to win the series.
Okay.
You would feel better about your Pistons in round 2 than the Nuggets.
Yes.
The Nuggets are going to be waiting, the Spurs waiting for them.
Sure. That's true.
Pistons are going to have either the Cavs or the Raptors. The Raptors who, I think are very pleased with how they've handled themselves this series, but I don't think are a scary team, and the Cavs are an obviously flawed team. So that's what the Pistons have going for them is if they can overcome this, they can maybe reset. What the Nuggets have going for them is overcoming it is all of a sudden so much easier because of the injuries of Minnesota. And it is really on the board that this is what is wrong with Denver is they are playing a team who was built by the guy who built them, and he built this team to beat them, and Rudy Gobert individually, for reasons that historically have not been the case, but in this series is has gotten into Jokic's head where Jokic is second-guessing himself and all of it, and if he gets through it, that it might just feel like a total new lease on life. I would feel better about Denver's chance to make the finals if their players and coaches, even after the win, didn't seem so tilted. So Adelman is just snapping at reporters after the win, which I didn't understand.
It felt like that reporter perhaps was taking a shot at the lack of defense.
I'm not sure, but I don't know. But it was clearly there was a backstory there, and we didn't talk about it. We were going to. Jokic at the end of this game.
Yeah.
With the whole, I'll give you the ball, I'll take it back, and then he got upset. They seem very off balance, even in the win. With that said, if they get through this series, I think they will have a real shot to beat San Antonio. I don't feel as good about it as I did 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I do, because I think maybe they'll be like, man, avoided disaster. We know we can beat this team. It's a totally different setup.
Aaron Gordon.
If Gordon's out.
Well, again, I don't. The Aaron Gordon's in and out. But I don't. It just feels like everyone's susceptible to be missing a guy. Like
Well, the way things are going, guys are going down.
Going down.
Oddly, the
right.
Spurs are right now are the healthiest squad, right?
Yeah, they don't have any injuries.
The Spurs and
the Celtics. The Spurs and Celtics.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.